Edmonton, there's a lot of these articles. I chose one. There was a lot of articles in the month of April. Edmonton's the hottest market. Basically, so here you've got where it says there's a $200,000 difference. That's now dropped down to $154,000. They've expanded. This used to be the top 35. They've expanded this now to 55, and you can see Edmonton sitting at 53 on this list. We're at $1,650 to rent a 2-bedroom. And then Calgary is at 46 at 1,900. So yes, rents have gone up a lot over the last couple of years, but they've definitely leveled off recently. In a 10-year span, 2013 to 2023, the output or real GDP of the tech sector grew 3.5 times than the overall economy. The number of employees grew at nearly 4 times the rest of all the industries. And the sector actually grew during the downturn of 2015, 2016. There's well over 50,000 people working in the tech sector right now. Calgary was the fastest growing tech sector among North American cities. Not Canada, North America. Calgary was number 1 for 5 years. Actually, yeah, for 5 years. And Edmonton, for what they call Edmonton more of a smaller market, Edmonton ranks 4th among small markets in all of North America. The sector also has 25% higher than the provincial average in wages. They're averaging about $63 per hour in that sector. And this is a great looking graph. The orange is basically the tech sector. Wouldn't that be amazing if that was real estate? Wouldn't that be that would be fantastic? I think it actually looked like that in Calgary on a previous slide a couple months ago. And then all other industries. So you can see that the tech sector, people are moving here. They talk about the U of A and USC being hugely supportive in regards to growing the tech sector. They're attracting people from all around the world. Really already? 5 minutes left? All over the world that are coming here. And so when these people come here, they need places to live. So certainly if you're, something, it's an area to look into in regards to, where are these tech sector jobs? Certainly a lot of people are probably working from home, but there's also some big, I remember seeing an article a few years ago about how there was over 1,000 small tech companies in Edmonton. And where is it? Well, it's all over the place. It's energy tech, it's agri-tech, it's fintech, it's health tech, it's rural tech, and then of course AI, which would encompass all of them. So Alberta tech is in all aspects.
The only thing I kind of noticed on your slide was crazy to see the 1-bedrooms was cheaper in Edmonton than they were that year in Calgary. Or very likely. So again, looking at the cash flows of the long-term rentals, how can you compete with some of these places when our price points are a lot higher when you see it like the as well. So yeah, just making sure you're being sophisticated with your purchases. Now when we go through the stand a room of investors or seminar, you don't really hear a ton of people talking about midterm rentals. There's no buzzwords or companies or anything that it is coming along. So I think it's something that a lot of people don't dive into, but it's a niche that a lot of people that we interacted with have been successful in. So I think it's important as investors to have a wide eye open in their bar, especially when we're talking about some of the ways and opportunities to cash flow as investors. We're going to look at all the different types of options. So we'll kind of define what a medium-term rental is. So number one is a furnished rental. Very similar to short-term rental. It's a furnished rental. Majority of long-term rentals are unfurnished. So again, any kind of is looking at something that's going to be a good-term rental. Really focus on the numbers of being furnished. And it's going to be a little bit different versus an Airbnb, or again, into some of those details. The definition of a medium-term rental generally is anything 30 days. Your short term, if you 1 night, Chad, what's your minimum night stay in the short-term rental?
Which length of stay is 4 days?
Well, okay, so 3 to 4 days is generally that's the common thing I'm hearing for short-term rentals, around that 3 to 4 days. The midterm is anything 30 days or longer. generally most of my portfolio is longer term investments and they're longer term rentals, which is usually 6 months and longer. I usually try to go for a 12-month lease. And then it's an alternative to longer term hotel. Publicly, at least in the city of Edmonton, there is a single guy who is the garbage guru. If you call the city of Edmonton and say, I want you in office for another neighborhood, they want to talk to you until you talk to their garbage guy. Who helps explain all of the rules around how they're going to pick up garbage from your facility because you cannot deal with that on your own if you do residential capacity municipal garbage. Existing mechanical electrical systems are going to be tricky. They're going to be you're going to be working with whole systems that you have to update to work with your facility. There's going to be a lot of working around what's grandfathered and what's not grandfathered. In the building code, grandfathered is things that were built in the 70s, for example, that they will accept, even though they don't meet today's codes. Higher law environment, not up and fall to this. You're going to have to be creative on the suite plans, oftentimes. In one of the latest slides, I show you some of the suites that we have at the Fifth Tower, and they're good suites. Look for a little bit of a different layout because you're working around existing columns, you're working around so corners and little. Affirming can be tricky, so you have to get in front of the city early and be working with them to get through the permitting process and to be really general. And pouring through a parking slot. Today we had poured 1,800 pours through the water slides at so, a lot more. This is be there on the floor. It's all about as to go because you're going to find things that you didn't set. Going to the Saturdays, we're not up to the same detail levels as far as we today. And yeah, we've hired 4 different commissioners. If you want to about the mechanical electrical scene, you can get them to go in. These systems and help you figure out how to reuse as much equipment as possible instead of saving a lot of money. It's the case things like security, fire alarm, sprinklers. So figure out how to make new space, work with all of that existing equipment. You want somebody you're using within, what is the level contractor to help us work through all of the existing envelope components and how to put in videos in existing good on building. Steady. And if it's the right person who knows that one that hates opportunity. If the sport was so special, but this would be much more expensive to do all of the course that you need to actually install. You're gonna want to reach out to the elevator company who's already in the building to evaluate what conditions the condition is of the existing elevators. If the existing elevators are very rough shape or need replacement, that is a modified bonus. You want somebody to evaluate whether the building is in good shape. We actually were a building contractor really recently into the conversion again, as all of the sealed units, like the windows, were not in the headers. Was needed replacement around the entire building, and that is very, very expensive. And you're going to want somebody to tell you where there is this practice. I could just like pay for the building, maybe testing. It's not that expensive to get testing done, but if you don't get testing done, right, it surprises you. Literally millions of dollars from this. The easiest thing to see is the footprint of the building. If the building's a square, like 50 feet, you want like the elevator core here to the face of the building to be 35 to 40 feet. If it's too small, you're gonna end up burning a lot of building up to try to get all of the suites in. And if it's too big, if it's like 60 feet, for example, you're gonna end up with a 1-bedroom unit that's 1,000 square feet because you have to have 22 feet of suite beds for a 1-bedroom suite. That's something to be cautious of. 35 to 40 feet in order to be able from rectangular buildings, you want 60 to 70 feet from here to here, so that you can get the right depth of the unit, and then you get forward and the right depth of the unit. If it's out of that, it's not very well for you. So one of the things I kind of noticed on your slide was crazy to see the one bedrooms was cheaper in Edmonton than they were in Calgary or Vancouver. It was more expensive. So again, looking at like cash flows of the long-term rentals, how can you compete with some of these places when our price points are a lot higher when you see it like the this top. So yeah, just making sure you're being stable with your purchases.